morning, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all so much for tapping back in to see what I have to say. I promise y'all, it truly does mean the world to me. But with that being said, what we're talking about? We're talking about Hedera in this one. I told y'all this is going to be a heavy Hedera week. Hedera has some incredible things going on globally, you guys, and we're going to tap in and we're going to pay attention. This is why Hedera is my number 2. Quant is king. I'm going to say it in every video. There is no distributed ledger technology company out there that can touch what Quant has done globally based off of the moves they have made and the partnership that they have cultivated with governments, central banks, multinational corporations, standard organizing bodies, and internet protocols, okay? But Hedera, man, that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity. Listen to me, okay? So, Hedera, we have had more news in regards to the Hedera ETF. Now, know that Hedera also had an ETP done in Europe. Okay, you guys? Follow me on this. The institutional flow and capital that is getting ready to come into the Hedera network is going to be mind-blowing. You have to remember that governing council. It's people like Shihan Bank, Standard Bank, Chainlink. You have Dell. You have Google. You have T-Mobile. You have Hitachi. You have Mondelez International. Like, there's too many for me to even name. You have Arrow now. There's too many for me to even name. And these are all established companies. These are all brand name companies. So think about it from this lens. Now with this institutional money that's getting ready to flow through these networks, they're not going to come in with the tribalism of crypto, of XRP Army, Shiba Army, XDC Army, HBAR. No. They're going to come in on the lens of, well, I already invest in NVIDIA, and I already invest in Intel, and I already invest in LG, and I invest in T-Mobile, and I already, have money offshores in this account. And if these players are coupling itself with this technology must be legit. It must be something that we can actually deploy capital into. Follow me on this. They won't even know nothing about, because most of the people only know nothing about the SEC and XRP and all of these things that us crypto native people, we know and understand and have been riding through for the past 3-4 years. They won't know any of these things. Only thing they'll know is these companies are now being associated with the brands that they already know and trust. So why not expose themselves in this new sector? Understand what it is. They are going to separate crypto from distributed ledger technologies, and it is going to be a new asset class and sector. And they are going to start deploying capital in the sector that are coupling themselves with the biggest names in the world. Follow me on this, because I'm always going somewhere. But this first video is coming from my boy Brandon, the HBAR Bull. He is going over information in regards to the Hedera ETF, and I will be right back.
Some updates around the ETF. So yes, the SEC decision on the HBAR ETF was delayed as expected, but everything is still pointing to an eventual approval. One example of that is the SEC requested that Solana ETF issuers update their S1 filings, which is usually the last step before approval. Solana had its last required 19B4 filing on January 24th of this year, a month before Canary filed HBARs, so everything is kind of moving in the expected order. Eric Balkunis of Bloomberg Intelligence, who we had on the show several months ago to discuss the HBAR ETF, said in a post, "Get ready for a potential altcoin ETF summer with Solana likely leading the way, as well as some basketed products." Via a James Seyfert note, they included fresh odds for all spot ETFs. Chronologically, HBAR is number 6 in line behind Litecoin, Solana, XRP, Doge, and Cardano. They gave HBAR an 80% chance of getting approval. Now, I know I've laid out much of this before, but I think it's important to discuss some of the implications of these alts getting ETFs approved here in the United States. First, Bitcoin has enjoyed the ETF tailwind for a while now, and I think this can explain much of Bitcoin's outperformance. Now, with the possibility of these approvals, it's alt's turn. Now, some of you might be thinking that Ethereum has had some ETFs and hasn't performed all that well, but I think that's for a lot of other issues. I think for a lot of these other altcoins, there is going to be a massive impact on their markets due to these approvals. There's certainly an advantage for nominal capital flows for the higher cap coins like Solana and XRP. That said, this is a bit of a fresh start with a brand new crop of potential investors who may not have had access or the drive to get involved before. They'll be looking at these ETFs and underlying protocols with fresh eyes. Altcoin investors to this point have been innovators and early adopters. ETF investors will be the first of the early majority and will be cut from a different cloth. These fresh eyes won't have crypto bias, and like I've been pounding the table on, I anticipate that Hedera and the HBAR will really resonate with these new investors. I think they'll appreciate the counsel, fair ordering resulting in no MEV or front-running issues, true finality, ABFT security, and the utility-first approach. Initially, I don't expect us to attract more capital in nominal terms, but I do think HBAR ETFs will see higher capital flows relative to the current market cap, which means outperformance. And with the average age of these investors being higher than the ones that probably invested before, that pool of capital could be significant.
Now, y'all just heard everything my boy Brandon had to say in regards to the Hedera ETFs. Y'all, the 80% approval will eventually be 100% approval, and there will be a live, active ETF product on the American stock market, okay? Follow me on this. But now we're tapping into my boy All in Crypto. He had an interview with Duncan Muir, the CEO of 21 Shares. Y'all, tap in when these people in these high-ranking positions speak. 21 Shares has $10 billion under management, okay? Follow me. This is no little Rudy Poo, investment firm. Follow me on this, okay, you guys? They have now filed for a Hadera ETP. Now, it's similar to what an ETF is here in America, but it's over in Europe because the institutional money is getting ready to flow through these networks. And you have a player like a Hedera that is going to capture a lot of it. Follow me on this. Coming from the CEO's mouth himself, he is saying that this is the reason why we are now bringing this ETP to market, because we now have overwhelming institutional investment interest in HBAR. They are asking for HBAR. Follow me on this because I'm always going somewhere. Here we go, a piece from that interview, and I will be right back.
To let you kind of reveal that announcement. I'm sure everybody that's interested in Hedera has already heard about it. But maybe you could give us what that announcement was.
Yeah, absolutely. So yesterday morning, European time, 21 Shares issued its first HBAR, so Hedera exchange traded product into the European market. And that's available through the regular securities exchanges. So bringing more people into the Hedera ecosystem.
And this, I think, is really going to start something much greater. We spoke the last time you were on about why exchange traded products are important, what they open the cryptocurrency space up to. And there's a kind of duality in regards to not only do you benefit the broader world of investing, but actually you benefit the cryptocurrency space by unlocking traditional capital that can only really gain access in many areas to the crypto space through these products. And we'll get onto that, I think, a little bit later on. What I want to maybe ask you is why now? Why have you guys decided to offer a Hedera product at this moment?
Sure. Why is it taking so long, right? I mean,
I didn't want to say that.
Hey, that's fine. Look, I know a lot of people expected us to have one sooner. I joined the business at the beginning of the year, and 21 Shares is always looking for new innovative products to bring to market. I think when we spoke before, I probably said something along the lines of, if it happens, it's got to make sense for both the Hedera ecosystem and for 21 Shares.
Yep.
And what we picked up on over the last couple of months was actually a lot of client demand for HBAR. So we have, in Europe, although our business is global, in Europe, half of our client base is retail, half of is institutional. So the institutions are the ones that we can talk directly with, engage with, and that's where we are hearing the demand from a bunch of different institutional investors.
Brilliant. And I think one thing that I want to pick up on is the tweet or the X post. I continuously call X Twitter. It's not quite,
who doesn't?
Not quite got over that yet, right? But the tweet from 21 Shares, the kind of intro read, the enterprise grade DLT just entered the ETP market. And I think Hedera's always stood out to me for being exactly that. Could we maybe touch on that a little bit more? You've kind of introduced why now, you're seeing institutional demand ramp up. But Hedera, I think, is quite unique in regards to its positioning as an enterprise grade DLT. Could we maybe touch on that and expand on that?
100%. I mean, you think about a lot of other protocols. They typically start their journey on the retail side, which is there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's one way to build a community and to build use cases. It tends to be very retail focused and first to market. Hedera has almost taken the opposite approach. Obviously, they do also touch on those markets, but they've since day one has been very focused on large enterprise, on offering a technology that people, yes, but also large companies can build on and trust within their existing infrastructure, and that is somewhat unique for Hedera in the marketplace, and they probably lead in terms of that positioning. And it's exactly that's those stories, that approach that has got institutional investors interested, because they like and they understand a lot of the use cases that Hedera has been working on for the last few years.
I think one of the things that really excites me about where the cryptocurrency space is, and I think 21 Shares is unbelievably well positioned to enable a lot of this from an investment point of view. One of the really exciting things about where the space is I truly see this technology being used in the same way that the internet is today. We all use it without even thinking about it. Businesses, companies, institutions had to essentially adopt the internet.
Now, you guys just heard from the CEO's mouth himself in regards to why they are now moving forward with the ETP of Hadera, HBAR. Follow me on this, y'all. What the moves that Hadera is making, these strategic partnerships that they have made with things like the Governing Council, all of these major conglomerate players with things like a $28 billion supply chain and things like a literally a $16 billion security exchange being built on top of Hedera for a reason. Follow me on this, because I'm always going somewhere. Even in my next video, tap into it, because we now have a company that is tapping into Hedera that have millions of live product already out in the market today. Follow me on this. The transactional volume that is getting ready to start flowing through Hedera's main net once regulation gets put in place is going to be astronomical. Okay, you guys? This is nothing not to tap into. This is nothing not to be like, wow, this is incredible. And what is your meme token talking about? They have a roadmap and they ain't never met none of the roadmap, or they keep on releasing new products after products after products, but yet you never really see any fruit from the labor of all the money that you keep paying for all these different products. No shout out to any ecosystem, in particular. I'm just putting real out there. But then you have players like a Hedera or like a Quant or XL or XRP or XLM or XDC that are literally showing you we have real world use cases. Pay attention to what these companies are doing, because they are doing something that in the next few years will bring immense value to the space of Web3. We're talking $1 trillion companies, you guys. Follow me on this, because I'm always going somewhere. If you made it all the way through this entire video, type in ETF, because that ETF will be approved in the institutional capital that's going to flow in behind these ETFs and ETPs. Is going to be world changing, mind blowing. Okay, Follow me on this. Type in ETF, and I appreciate y'all. I truly do. Till the next time, y'all already know. Peace out.